A very good morning. Today I have with me is Adhiraj. He's one of our alumni. What do I say about your introduction? Let's hear from the man himself. Adhiraj, please introduce yourself to the. Uh,
So my name's Adhiraj Sethi. I graduated from JGU BBA in 2023, and I'm currently working as a business analyst in Jacksonville, Florida, the United States of America. I completed my master's in business analytics from Babson College, where I was recognized as the valedictorian. So my journey after JGU has been pretty smooth, and I think I'm enjoying the path that I have chosen for my career. And I'm also very grateful to Jindal for providing me the opportunity to study. The reason why I had to go to Jindal was because of COVID. I wanted to stay closer to home, and there was no better choice than JGU in India for me. So, yeah, I'm really grateful to be here, and I'm excited for this webinar.
so going step by step, understanding what role does a business analyst play and why business analysts? Has the trend changed over years, or it's a regular MBA? Like what? Because the conventional way of MBA has always been marketing, finance, and what is business analyst? I understand.
So, in the recent years, as we know, the trend has been shifting towards artificial intelligence, technology, data, and you can either become a software engineer who actually programs, or you can become a business analyst who actually understands a business using numbers, using data that is provided to you, and provides actionable insights and recommendations to those companies. And in today's time, whether it be finance, marketing, you need solid evidence and backing for any decision that you are making in the company, and data is what provides you with that. So, as a business analyst, you have an important job of informing the higher ups and the CEO, C-suite employees about what actually the data says and what decisions can be made based on that.
Right. So, for my understanding, what I've grasped is business analyst is someone who understands trends
Yes.
in a certain sector, what has benefited over a certain year, what would benefit in upcoming trends. So that's what we
Yeah.
got that. So why US?
So, I think ideally, Indian students have, I would say, about 3 to 4 countries majorly to choose from, which include the United Kingdom, Australia, Singapore, and the US. So, I chose US because I wanted to pursue a career with, a strong where I already have a strong foundation. And I think the US actually recognizes and rewards business analysts and people who are actually into this field. Also, another reason was that the education here is copied, I would say, to be honest, worldwide. And that is something I wanted to experience firsthand. And
To
I'm really
learn from
grateful
the
about
original,
them.
from them.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
But Adhiraj, since students are watching this webinar and they would be watching that in the near future when it goes on YouTube, I'm sure one question that would strike is everybody cannot go to US. There are certain finances involved. First,
Yes.
to understand what is the financial budget that one should have in hand to appear or to go for this program. And if not USA, I'm sure you must have done your due research. Where else can they go for this program?
So it is expensive for sure. But firstly, before I discuss the actual numbers, I always want to tell students that there is always a chance for you to get scholarships. So did I. So you should always ask for scholarships. No one's going to come and give it to you themselves. You'll have to go beg, borrow, steal it from them. And they do acknowledge it. They don't disregard it in the sense that maybe you're trying to ask for too much. Actually, they appreciate you asking for it. But in terms of numbers, you could expect to be spending anywhere around $100,000 if you want to come for a master's or an MBA for a year or two in the US. It is relatively comparatively more expensive than, let's say, the UK or Singapore or Australia. You could have a 40% reduction in the same cost if you were to go to the UK or these other countries. But you wouldn't get the same pay after you graduate. So that is another thing that you need to take into consideration, because eventually the return on investment comes from your
Right.
job and what you take forward.
Right. How you started, how you started this answer was scholarship. Let me
Yeah.
understand uh, the steps that could be taken to get the scholarship. Like what uh, college recommendation is one, your
Yeah.
grade, what else?
So obviously, your merit-based scholarships are based on grades and recommendations. There are also scholarships for financial needs, where students who actually need support financially, not just because they don't have good grades, but because their family isn't able to provide for them. There are also scholarships. So these big universities in the US are mostly run by uh, big names that donate money, and they run these foundations through these universities where they help children
Right,
get this education at a lower cost or free of cost.
right,
So you could always reach out to the university of your liking and their outreach team or their admissions team, and they can connect you with the right individuals. And if you're lucky in that sense, they could sponsor your whole education as well.
right. So, beyond this, Adhiraj, I wanted to understand, does work ex also plays a vital role? Or would you recommend after pursuing their graduation, they should work for a year or two and then go for such degree? What is your thought on that?
So there are two things to this. I did not have any work experience prior to my master's, but that gave me an advantage in terms of academics. So I never lost the rhythm, and I continued to study. So I could eventually score. I mean, I scored the highest marks in my batch.
Right,
But if if you were to ask me, maybe I would have preferred working for 1 year to actually understand what aspect of business analytics intrigues me the most. That would have helped me to choose the right courses. Even though I feel like I did majorly choose the right courses during my program, but that kind of a clarity can only come if you actually work in real life and understand, and then maybe make better choices.
got that. I did ask you one question. If not US, you did mention few countries. Do you have any prefer five university in US or in other country if somebody intends to pursue this course?
For business analytics, I would highly recommend my own college, first of all, that is Babson College. Um, Faculty is great, their teaching methods are great, and I think one thing international students struggle the most with is adapting to a new place.
Right,
But Babson provides you with that kind of comfort where you don't feel out of place, because it's
right,
not a very big college. You're not bombarded with, let's say, 10,000 students and you feel lost in the sea of students. Every single student is recognized here and remembered. Other than that, for Indian students, especially, one of another option that even I was looking for, but I couldn't pursue because they require a 4-year undergrad program, is USC. That's University of Southern California.
Yes.
It's a great option, but over there you will be bombarded with a sea of students because it's a big university, but their program is good too. Mm, Other than that, I don't have a I feel like this program is so new that currently I cannot make judgments on where the program would be best. I think to actually decide on the university for a program like this, you just need to decide on the fact that I'll be comfortable in this city. I want to work
Makes sense.
after graduation in this city because the location plays a major part. Like if you're in the
Absolutely.
East Coast, West Coast, you like the winters, you like the summers, you have to take these things into
Makes sense. I
consideration.
completely agree with that. That plays a very vital role. However, I would want to understand how has USA approach to education, especially in business analytics, is different here. It's different from here in India. What was the difference? What's the difference?
So while I was doing my BBA course in Jindal as well, we had a business analytics course. It was our core course, and that is the first time I was actually I came across business analytics, and that's where my interest towards this course began. The approach that is different is I can give you an example. Like the ways we were taught, to date remember the formulas or the teachings that were asked maybe in the exam, maybe in the assignments. But I would say I wouldn't have remembered the same things if I learned it here for the first time, because here they don't actually focus more on you remembering the formulas. They actually focus more on how you can use the right tools to make the right analysis. We were actually in Babson College, we were actually encouraged to use ChatGPT, take help from AI. We were encouraged to actually learn how to give the right prompts to get the right results. And our teachings were mainly focused more towards projects, more towards real life scenarios. We worked with Clarks, C&J Clarks, the shoe company, and we had a field project with them where they had real problems that were to be solved. And when you do this in person, real life, and it has actual consequences, you learn so much. You learn from the mistakes you made, you remember the mistakes you made, and etc.
So, does internship also plays a very important part while you're pursuing a course like this? And what after internship? What are the prospect of pursuing this program?
I wouldn't say internships play a major role for the program, but yes, internships play a role after the program because once you graduated, you only have 3 months to find a job. If you don't, you have to go back to your country. And within those 3 months, you can't just prove to any employer that you'll ace it at the work that he's providing you with. Uh, the only way he'll believe you is with the internships or any job experience that you have. I could do it only and only basis of my marks. So I would recommend students to have a plethora of internships in their pouch before coming here.
And what are the most important technical tools and skills for students interested in analytics? And how they can help? What preparations do they need in this journey?
I think analytics is misunderstood to be very code driven, even though you are supposed to be coding. So there's Python, there's R, there's SQL. These are languages that you must know. But I would say more than knowing each and every aspect of a code and writing a code without using the help of maybe even Google, that's unnecessary. That's not needed. What's more necessary is in today's time, everyone is a coder. If you go to ChatGPT, it will code for you. So what employers are actually looking for is how you use the code, how you derive the results, and how you present it to them in an easy manner for them to understand that these are the actionable recommendations that you are providing them. It can't be vague, they have to be very specific. So work on your communication skills, work on understanding the analysis part more than the coding part. If you were to start off, you can obviously download R. It's a free software. You can start learning Python. You can take some visualization tools like Tableau, skill checks, etc.
I'm so sorry, what platform did you just mention? It's
So there is a data visualization platform called Tableau.
DAP.
There, there are coding platforms, which is R. So you can download R Studio. It's free. It's an open-end software created by the public for the public. And then there's Python, obviously.
Okay, makes sense, makes sense. Okay, what are the career prospect now that certain skills we have talked about, internship, what are the career prospect post this program?
So, the reason why I chose business analytics was because you can be any kind of analyst after you do business analytics. I am inclined towards marketing. So I always wanted to do something related to, let's say, a marketing analyst. But I didn't, there are courses for, there are programs where you only learn marketing analytics. So there, it's a deeper dive into just marketing analytics. But I would recommend doing business analytics because it opens your options to a supply chain management analyst, an information technology analyst, a business analyst, an accountant analyst. You can be any kind of analyst if you just do business analyst.
Makes sense. Got clear and route. I remember in the early conversation, you told me that if you don't get a job in 3 months, you have to go back. I wanted to understand how was your experience and what were the struggles that you faced while in terms of procurement of a job?
So I won't lie, I'll be honest, the market is really difficult right now, and it's not expected to become better until after the election, and that is also speculative. But for me personally, I had made over 500 to 600 applications, out of which I could only land 4 to 5 interviews, from which I got 2 offers, where I eventually ended up choosing the one I am at right now.
So the struggle was real. And you
Yeah.
know that this analytics has to do a lot with AI, data science, and since it's a booming industry, it's a future. It does, and you told me that you applied and you made 500 applications. The opportunity is less, or the selection is very niche. What is it? Where was the struggle?
So there are multiple factors to this. Firstly, during COVID, there was overhiring of people in my industry.
Okay.
So instead of hiring more employees right now, companies are making layoffs. Secondly, the selection process has also become completely AI driven. Your resumes don't pass through ATS until they're fully optimized. And even a small keyword missing will eventually, so your resume won't actually reach the hiring manager. It will just be rejected and you'll be sent an email saying, unfortunately, etc., etc. And thirdly, yes, they are highly selective because these are high-paying jobs and the growth prospects are immense. Within 2 3 years, you can be a really high-level, high-earning employee if you were to be successful in this field.
So how you mentioned that it's a high paying job. I wanted to understand, does this job also involves targets? Do you work on certain targets that if not aligning with the company's interests, we might just lay you off? Does that struggle exist in this industry?
So there is a variable portion to your salaries, and that does not come necessarily from targets, but more from the company's performance. And if you're not doing your job well, if your team is not doing your job well, the company won't perform well either. So it's not like someone's going to be telling you that next year I want the top line to be 5% more than what we have right now. But if it is not, then the questions will be raised as to what the analysts are doing. Why aren't questions being raised as to what is supposed to be? Because we aren't the decision makers. We aren't the people who are actually going to make changes. We are the ones who raise questions. We are the ones who find problems. We are the ones who recommend solutions. And if no alarm bells are going off in the company, yet there is no progress, we are questioned.
But like sales, there are no targets. It doesn't
No,
follow.
I wouldn't say that there are. So we can only use data to a certain level of understanding, right? There are 100 other factors that play into, let's say we don't do anything, we don't say anything, but next year we have 20% more sales. It's not because of us. It's not because of
Right.
the data
Right.
changed.
Right.
It's because of other factors. But if if in the hospitality industry the food cost has increased from 30% to 40%, that's
Right.
for us to recognize. And we
Absolutely.
have to recognize where and how it changed from that, and we have to recommend solutions. If we don't do that, then we are not doing our job well.
So just for any piece of advice for all the graduate student who intends to apply for this course, and although you have shared both good sides and bad sides, but still, if there's any struggles that you've come across, maybe you can share.
Firstly, I would like for everyone to know that my life, I'm just 22 years old, by the way, so my life had a very quick turnaround. So enjoy the time that you have right now, because you never know when it's going to change, and then you're going to get into this corporate cycle, and then you're going to get serious in life. But for this program specifically, you have to be very consistent. You cannot get lazy, basically. So procrastination shouldn't be a word in your dictionary. Preciseness should be the word that should stick by you
Right.
forever. And just keep at it. I mean, it applies for any program, not just analytics. If you are diligent, dedicated, you can make it big in whatever you wish to pursue.
Makes sense. Thank you so much, Adhiraj. I would such a pleasure talking to you on that note.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here.
I once again.